knowing how to navigate through life, is the secret of life itself. For we all are engaged from the moment that we're born until the moment that we're wrested from this world, brought before the Holy One, blessed be He, trying to learn how to tell the difference between right and wrong, between good and evil, and between those things that are largely in the gray, vast area in between those two polar opposites. This week's Torah portion is called VaYishlach, and it begins with the reunification of two brothers that have been distant from each other for a very, very long time. And when they're finally ready to meet again, one of the brothers, Esau, is armed to the teeth. And the other brother, Jacob, is armed to the teeth with something entirely different than weaponry and fortifications and an army standing behind him. What Jacob has is he has something, in fact, more powerful, a lesson that he's learned on the wheel of life, which has been for him extraordinarily difficult and painful. Jacob's life up to this moment has been anything but easy. His life has been full of suffering, separation, displacement, and accusations, some of them false and some of them bordering on true. For Jacob, as he stands ready on the battlefield, we find the words as the Torah portion is introduced, VaYishlach Yaakov, and Jacob sent. One of the great masters said, Rav Naftali Meroshpitz, said that VaYishlach can be separated into two different words, Shalach, which is sent, and Va, or Ve. And what Rav Naftali says is that he sent away, Jacob sent away the disappointment. He banished, as it were, the oy vey of life, the pains, the disappointments. He wasn't going to be entrenched in darkness all of his life. Jacob sought light and joy and allowed himself to be filled with hope and promise of a better day and better days than he had experienced. Because remember, Jacob's life was full of disappointments, and now he was ready to battle his biggest foe of life, himself. His own disillusionment, his own sadness, his own disappointments. Now contrast that with the prayer that Jacob says just before he goes to bed at night. He says to God, Katonti mikol chasadim. I am smaller. I am tinier than all the greatest of the people that stood before you, before God. I am the most insecure, insignificant of them all. And what we have here is the balance between, on the one hand, Jacob saying to himself that I am banishing all of the sadness, the disappointments, the negativity of my life, and on the other hand saying, I am small and insignificant against you, Lord God. It's those two poles. They're not opposites, but those two distinct poles that we need to be constantly aware of in our life. One, to face the obstacles of life with faith and hope and possibility and joy. And second of all, to not be full of ourselves with it, but rather to realize that we are small, we are tiny, we are insignificant, and anything that we get in life is a gift. Living with those two reminders in our heart is ultimately what transforms Jacob into the patriarch and the progenitor of the Jewish people, Israel, for he's safely able to wrestle the angel and prevail as a result of his realization. His realization should become our gift. After all, he wills it to us, does he not? Shabbat Shalom.